आई पिछली बार हमने यहाँ तक किया था सुवृष्टि की। हाँ, अब आज है ये सस्यवर्धिनी। राजनाथ सब यही है ना?
हाँ सर।
ठीक है, यहाँ से शुरू करेंगे। सस्यवर्धिनी। हाँ, अकाराच इकाराच उकारा। हाँ, शेखर जी आप स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं।
अच्छा, ओके।
हाँ, सस्यवर्धिनी से यहाँ से।
Sasyavardhini was the last nama in the list wherein we have the description of agriculture, rains and others. So Sasya refers to normally the crops. So Sasyavardhini, one who is responsible for the growth of the crops. Here crops designates everything that is required for the sustenance of life form on the earth. But in the Upanishads, we find the analogy of the sasya or the grass or the crops with the human existence itself. Just like the crops grow, wither away, and they are replaced by another set of crops. Similarly, is this existence, wherein we are born as per the karmic influences, we live and we die out once again to be born in some other form in some other place. So the Upanishad says sasyamiva jayate punaha. Just like the sasya, which is sasyamiva pachyate. No, he grows and he withers away, and sasyamiva jayate. He is reborn again like the sasya. So she is the cause for the existence of the life form, because she is the one who has brought in the first vritti of the duality. At the same time, she is the one who is or who will be responsible for the removal of the ajnana, which will lead us to realizing our swarupa. How does it happen? It happens through the knowledge of an essential element, namely the Matrika Chakra. So in the Shiva Sutra, there is a particular sutra which says, by the knowledge of the Matrika Chakra, one becomes liberated. So the next set of namas speaks about the various aspects of the Matrika. So the next nama is Akara, one who is in the form of the first sound, Akara. Now, A is considered as the most basic and elementary sound, a sound which is common in almost all the languages spoken all over the world, because that is the base sound. And after that, the other vowel forms, the consonant forms, it differs. So our Tantragamas have given us a clear-cut system of the Matrika Chakra. This is called as a Matrika Chakra. Before we understand the Matrika Chakra, I would like to digress here from the current namas here, just to explain in as short time as possible what is the standpoint of the Tantra regarding the Matrikas. How or why are Matrikas so important for us? Why is the knowledge of sounds or phonemes so important for us? Before we go into this or answer this question, let us understand that the entire Srishti is categorized in 6 different ways. It is called as Shadadhva. Adhva means path. So there are 6 paths or 6 ways of classifying. Of these, the first is called as the Kala Adhva. It refers to the 5-fold power of Shiva. The next is the Tattva Adhva. It is represented by, or it represents the 36 Tattva concept. The third is called as the Bhuvana Adhva, either 224 according to some tantras or 118 according to the Malini Vijayotara Tantra. It represents the Bhuvanas, the various worlds of or spheres of experiences. Then comes the next set of 3, namely the Varna Adhva, the Pada Adhva, and the Mantra Adhva. Varna is the 51 Matrika Sura. Then comes the Pada Adhva. In the Pada means word. Word is that which stands or which represents a concrete idea, and it is composed of phoneme. For example, if I say Rama, it consists of the respective phonemes R, A, M, and A. So when these 4 phonemes combine, it gives a particular word, Rama, and Rama by itself stands for a particular object. Okay, be it a person or be it a concept, whatever. So Pada is, or word is, representation of a thought, a concrete representation of a thought. The last is the mantra, the mantra adhva. Now, when we look into these, the first 3, that is the Kala, the Tattva, and the Bhuvana adhvas, they are called as the Vachya adhva, that is the Artha category. Whereas the next 3, that is the Varna, Pada, and the Mantra, they are the Vachaka. Okay, the sound, the Shabda aspect. So the first 3 is the Artha aspect, the next 3 are the Shabda aspect. And in the Srishti Krama, the Shabda comes first and the corresponding Arthas are generated accordingly. So the Matrikas or the sounds comes first. This is very beautifully explained by Acharya Abhinav Gupta in his Paratrishika Vivarana, wherein he gives an elaborate and a very elegant and a scholarly exposition tracing the manifestation of all the sounds to a single sound, that primal sound, the primary sound, from where, which again is nothing but the initial spanda, the vibration, which generated the concept of creation in the consciousness. That is the spanda which causes the vimarsha to take dominance and result in the form of the creation. The creation is nothing but the 36 tattvas. And where we enjoy these 36 tattvas are the respective bhuvanas. Okay. So Acharya Abhinav Gupta explains that, look, all the 16 vowels, they represent the Shiva Tattva. The first, that is the Shiva Tattva. And he gives an elaboration based on the Mula Tantras and the Mula Agamas as to how it happens. What is the progression of the creation? The first vowel, A, stands for Chit or Chaitanya, pure consciousness. So Shiva as pure consciousness, pure awareness, undifferentiated awareness. Awareness not with respect to awareness of something. No, there it is the that will happen only in the sphere of duality. Here it is pure undifferentiated awareness. Within this chit is embedded the innate bliss, ananda. This ananda is represented by the next sound or the next vowel, a. So a and a stand for the primordial state of Shiva even before the desire for creation is generated in him through his free will. Then the desire arises, the Kamakala arises in him, and the moment the desire arises, it necessitates the srishti of something else apart from. So that idam, so the manifestation of idam, all this is happening only at conceptual level. Nothing is happening at any physical level. It's all happening in a conceptual sphere. So this desire, the manifestation of the first desire, ichha, is represented by the next vowel, e. And the subsequent vowel, which is e, represents his ishana. Ishana is his power, his swatantriya to manifest as he pleases. Then comes, after the next stage is represented by the unmesha. What is unmesha? Unmesha is an expansion. Okay, the desire is followed by expansion, represented by unmesha. And the next vowel, u, that is u is unmesha. U is unnata, expansion further. Okay, so these are the first a, e, u, u. So the concept of duality and the concept of one becoming many, okay, results in a becoming e and u. Now the consciousness traces back to its primal form of pure awareness. Now this tracing back is not like many of the human activity of going back on certain activities out of fear or out of doubt or anything like that. But this is to show that at any given point of time, we do not lose or we are not separated from our essential nature of being pure consciousness. To demonstrate that, this tracing back happens. This tracing back is represented by the next 4 vowels, that is r, l, l. That is why in the Tantragamas, these 4 are called as the Shandaksharas and they are not used in any of the mantra vidhanas. When we do the nyasas and others, we only use a, e, u, a, o, okay, the anuswara and the visarga. We don't use the r and the l forms because they are the shanda. That is, they are retracing back. Okay, so it has gone back to its original a form. Then comes, so he has demonstrated, so he has to start or he has to finish what he has already started. So the a and a, that is the chit and the ananda aspect, interacts with the ichha and the ishana, e and e, resulting in the diphthongs a and I. We all know that according to Sanskrit grammar, when a and e combine, it forms a, and when a and a combine, it results in I. So this a and I, similarly, the jnana aspect, okay, of a and a, when it interacts with the unmesha and the unnata aspect of u and u, it results in the next 2 set of vowels, namely o and au. Once again, this is also can be demonstrated using the same Sandhi rule, wherein A and U combine to give O, A and O combine to give O. So this A, I, O and O represent 4 stages of the Kriya Shakti of Shiva. The 4 stages of Kriya Shakti, that is, it is called as the Vivrta, Ishad Vivrta. So that is vivid, slightly vivid, least vivid, most vivid. Okay, so these are the 4 kinds of Kriya. The power to act. These are represented by A, I, O and O. Once again, to show that he does not, even in the state of duality, which will manifest even at a much more solid and a much more dense form in the subsequent stages, does not lose his capacity of being pure consciousness. Is represented by the Bindu. The Bindu or the Anuswara represents that Purnatva, that sense of being full. So is the next vowel. Actually, it's only Anuswara. Anuswara is just the Bindu. Okay. When that reflects, to show that the whole creation is the reflection of consciousness, because our system, as according to our system, the entire world is a pratibimba, that is a reflection of pure consciousness. So we follow what is called as a Pratibimbavada. There are different opinions regarding the creation. The theory of cosmology in the Indian darshanas. So Trika follows the Pratibimbavada. And this Pratibimbavada has been very elaborately been dealt with in the Paratrishika Vivarana. I'm not going into those details, just explaining that it is a Pratibimba. So Pratibimba means there will be a reflection. So the next vowel, that is the Visarga, is the Pratibimba. So we have 2 dots. So there is a Bimba and a Pratibimba. So the Bimba was the previous Anuswara. Its Pratibimba is the Vimarsha Shakti, which is the Shakti. So the Visarga is the term Visarga itself means letting out. The meaning of Visarjana is to let out, to discard. Discard in the sense not the way we understand normally, but to give out. All right. So the entire creation comes out of the pure consciousness, which is represented by the Visarga. So we have the entire 16 vowels describing the various stages in which pure consciousness evolves into a point from where the Vimarshana takes over. So from now on, the Vimarshana or the Shakti takes over. Okay, after Visarga, the Shakti takes over. And since we follow the Pratibhimbavada, what happens is a mirror image will always be an inverted image, right? We all know that. So the vowels ka, kha, ga, gha, nga, okay. And when we start making the list of the tattvas after Shiva, that is Shakti, Sadashiva, Ishvara, Shuddha Vidya, Maya, Kala, Raga, Niyati, etc. When we reverse it, what happens is it is Prithvi, then Jala, then Vayu, then Agni, and Akasha, like that. So we have the next set of the consonants or the Vyanjanaksharas, which stand for the 35 other tattvas, that is other than the Shiva tattva. All the other are represented by the Vyanjanaksharas. How? You can imagine a 5 by 5 matrix. Okay, that is the 5 powers of Shiva: Chit, Ananda, Ichha, Jnana, and Kriya. These are the 5 powers of Shiva. These interacting or resulting in the 5 sets, okay, represented by the Kavarga is nothing but the Panchabhutas. Okay, that is Ka is Prithvi, Kha is Jala, Ga is Agni, Gha is Vayu, Na is Akasha. The next set of 5, that is the Chavarga consonants, stand for the 5 Tanmatras. Tanmatras are the essential nature of these Panchamahabhutas. So the essential nature of Prithvi is Gandha, no, the smell. So Gandha. So Cha is Gandha. Similarly, Cha is Rasa, taste, which is the essential Tanmatra of the Jala. So the Jala is just right above it. Okay, Jala is represented by the letter Kha, and the Rasa Tanmatra is represented by Cha, which is just below. So that's why I said imagine a 5 by 5 matrix. So Ja is the Rupa Tanmatra, the form, which is represented by the Agni or the light. Then we have the Jha, which is the Sparsha Tanmatra. It is the Tanmatra of Vayu, okay, the wind. And we have Nya, which represents the Shabda Tanmatra, which is the Tanmatra of Akasha, which was represented by the Kavarga 5th letter Nga. So we have Kavarga, which is Panchamahabhutas. We have Chavarga, the 5 Tanmatras. Then comes the Tavarga. The Tavarga represents the 5 Karmendriyas, the senses of action. That is, Ta represents the Upastha Karmendriya. Ta represents the Vayu. Ah, yes. Great.
I just brought it here.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Represents the Vayu. The Da represents the Pada, the feet. The Dha represents the Pani, the hand. Then we have the Na, which is the representative of the Vak. So these are the 5 Karmendriyas. Then we have the next 5 sets of
these are
Jnanendriyas.
Yes.
Ta, tha, da, dha, na.
Then it is Karmendriyans.
Ta, tha, da, dha, na is Jnanendriyas.
Yeah.
Ta, tha, da, na is Karmendriya. This is the Karmendriya.
Correct. Jnanendriyas. Yeah.
Yes. Ta, tha, da, dha, na is the Jnanendriyas. So we have the Ta, which is Grana, that is the olfactory, the power to smell. See, you can see that correspondence right up. See, Grana's power to observe or to know the Gandha, that is the smell, which belongs to the Prithvi. So, Grana is Ta, the Gandha is Cha, Prithvi is Ka. They are all aligned in one. And they are all from the Kriya Shakti of Shiva. So we have then the Tha, which is the Rasanendriya, okay, the sense of taste. Then we have the Da, which is the Chakshurindriya, the sense of perception. Then we have the Dha, which is the Twagindriya, the sense of touch. Then we have the Na, which is the Shrotrendriya, the sense of the auditory sense, the power to hear. Then comes the Pa, Pha, Ba, Bha, Ma. These are the Antahkaranas, the inner organ. Pa represents the mind or the manas. Pha represents the ahankara. The Ba represents, Pa represents ahankara, buddhi. Yeah, no, correct. Ahankara. Ba represents buddhi. Bha represents prakriti. And Ma represents Purusha. Ma represents the Purusha. Yeah, Prakriti is here given as the 3 gunas, because Prakriti is a sum total of the 3 gunas. Right. Then comes the Kanchukas, the 6 Kanchukas. which are represented by the letters Ya, Ra, La, and Ba. That is, Ya represents Niyati. Ra represents both the Kala as well as the Avidya or Vidya, because Vidya is limited knowledge. Then La represents the Raga and the Kala. And Ba represents the Maya Tattva. I think there is a small difference.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I can see.
Yeah, but anyway, this is I think the Tantra Bheda is there. Anyway, so it represents the Kanchukas.
Shat Kanchukas.
Shat Kanchukas. Then the last, that is the Ushmanas, are Shasha Saha. Sha represents so it represents the Shiva Tattvas apart from Shiva. That is the Shuddha Vidya. Sha represents Ishvara. Sa represents Sadashiva, and Ha represents Shakti. Ha represents Shakti. Ksha is also taken as the Kuta, and it is also the representation of Shakti only.
Kuta Bija.
So both Ha as well as the Ksha represents Shakti in their two aspects. One is the dormant, that is the potential, is the Kuta, and the kinetic is the Ha.
Kinetic
So
is Ksha or Ha?
Ha.
Ha
Kinetic
is kinetic.
Ha.
Okay.
So when we say A represented by Shiva and Ha represented by Shakti, and their unity by the Anuswara Im, we get the form Aham, which is the highest principle of the Tantras. So the Matrika Chakras represents the entire creation as a process, the entire creation itself, and how to reflect upon the creation through the letters, through the phoneme. And to insist that these are not, or these as mantras, they are not mere sounds. That is, when we say sounds, they are not inert manifestations. They are dynamic and vibrant principles. The mantra Adva clearly says that the mantras are Chaitanya Purna. That is, they are embodied beings. Mantras are embodied beings, each capable of leading the sadhaka to the final knowledge of Aham, which is the, we call it as a Pratyaharanya, that is starting and the last letter. Okay, so what is Aham? Aham is the Shiva Shakti Aikya or Shiva Shakti Samarasya, in which the entire Prapancha is represented. So that is why this concept of Matrika, the concept of mantra, is so powerful, and it is insisted upon in all the tantric literature or the agamic literature. And they are the highest means, as well as they are the end also. They are both the means as well as the end. No, we call it as they are both the upaya and they are the lakshya, the goal. So when we speak of Devi as Akara, one who is manifested as the sound A, it is not merely the physical sound A that we hear. Obviously, yes, she is that. But she is that vibrant principle behind all the emanating sounds and the objects represented by the sounds, both at the physically manifested level and at the subtle tattvic level. So Akara. So in Akara, she is Shiva Rupini, because A represents Shiva. The next nama is Ikara. E is the Icha. We have seen that. So I'm not going to deal in detail. So Ikara represents the Icha and the Ishana, the two aspects of the Vimarshana, okay, which initiates the process of creation in consciousness. Next comes the Ukara, that is the Unmesha and the Unnatattva. Okay, so Ukara. Then the next Nama is Aikara Rupini, one who is in the form of I. This is very interesting, the way the I is explained. I or Aim is called as the Vagbhava Bija in the Mantra Shastra. That is, it is the source of Vak. It is the source of the Shakti of Vak. And they demonstrate that, okay, this is not a mere rhetoric, but this is how the entire plan has been made out, even in the manifestation of the Vedas. So we start with the Rig Veda. The first mantra of the Rig Veda is Agnimi Ile Purohitam Yajnasya Devam Ritvijam. So the mantra starts with Agnim. So the first letter is A. So the Rig Veda, the first letter of Rig Veda is A. Next comes the Yajurveda. The first mantra of Yajurveda is Ishetva Urjetva Vajavastho Pajavastho. So it starts with Ishe. So the first letter of Yajurveda is I. When we combine A and I, that is the first letter of Rig Veda, A, and the first letter of the Yajurveda, we get A. Okay. Then comes the Samaveda. Agna Ayahi Vitaye A. So we already have A. Then we have the A of the Samaveda. When A and the A combine, it results in I. The Atharva Veda is Shanno Devi Ravishtaye. Sham, the Anuswara, because Anuswara cannot come in the beginning. Okay, so that is a very next manifestation. And Sham is Isha in Im. So A of Rig Veda, E of Yajurveda, combining to give A. This combines with A of Samaveda to give I. This combines with the Im of the Atharva Veda to give Aim. That is why Aim is called as the Vagbhava Bija, the source of all sounds. Because Vedas represents the primordial sounds, the Shabda Brahma. So when we say Devi is Aikara, Aikara is Aimkara, Aimkara Rupini. She is
one question
the mother of the entire Shabda.
Yeah, sorry. Generally, when we say these are 4 Vedas, but many texts we say actually it's only 3. I just want a clarification on that.
Mara, there is there has always been this debate whether it is Trayi, that is whether Vedas are 3, or the Atharvana is also part of the Vedic corpus.
Yes.
So because this debate has been raging for quite a few centuries, the final full stop was put by Bhagavan Vedavyasa, because he was the one who gave us the compilation of the Vedas as we are using it today. And he very clearly made Atharva Veda as an authoritative 4th classification.
Okay.
So Vedas are 4. There is no doubt about it.
Nice. Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
To answer the question logically also, what is the meaning of when we say Vedas are 3? We shouldn't take the term 3 to represent 3 bodies of literature. It is 3 styles. So what are the 3 styles then? Rik is all the metrical composition is called as Rik. Anything which is Chandobadda, which has a metrical, like for example, Gayatri is a meter. So anything composed in the Gayatri meter, okay, that is 8 letters in one line and 3 such lines. This is the definition of Gayatri. There is another meter, for example, by name Pankti, which has 4 lines. When we have Jagati, okay, then we have Ati Jagati. All these are meters. So any composition which is metrical is called as Rik or Richaha in Bahuvachan. Yajus. Yajus is the prose format. That is, which is not Chandobadda, which is in the form of sentence. They are called as Yajus. Sama. Sama is the Riks set to tune. The Riks which are set to the 5 swaras. Okay, the Vedas recognized only 5. The Saptaswara concept came later, deriving from the 5 set. So when the Rik is set to music, it is Sama. So there are only 3 types of composition. What Bhagavan Vedavyasa did was put all the Riks together and he gave us the Rig Veda. Put all the, I'm just giving a very oversimplistic explanation. He put all the prose together to give us the Yajus. And Samaveda is nothing but Rig Veda set to music. You will not find any new mantras in Samaveda. All the mantras in the Samavedas are from the Rig Veda, but with a different notations or musical rendering. Because it is a musical rendering, there will be certain letters, okay, which are added like Hawi, and all that, okay, for the musical setting. There is no 4th style of composition. Whereas what we call today as Atharva is a mixture of Rigs and the Yajus. That is, we have both the prose and the poetry in the Atharva Veda that we have today. So when we speak of Trayi, it means that 3 styles of composition.
Okay.
And when we speak of Chaturveda, the 4 Vedas as body of literature. There is no contradiction in both these.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So the next Nama is Hrimkari. Hrim is called as the Shakta Pranava. I think we have seen this earlier also because there are quite a few Namas with Hrim in the list. So Hrim is called as the Shakta Pranava because Hrim also, just like the Vaidika Pranava, which is Om, and the Shaiva Pranava, which is Hum or Home. There are 2 Vedas. Hum is also considered as the Shaiva Pranava. Haum is also considered as a Shaiva Pranava. All these 3, if you see, they are all having a similar set of patterns. That is, you will have 3 composition, 3 phonemes in that. In Hrim, it is H, R, I. In Om, it is A, U, M. In Hau also, you will have H, Au, M. That is M. Followed by Nada and followed by the Bindu, Kala and others. So they have the same pattern because they are all denoting the same. So in Hrim, Ha represents Shiva, Ra represents Shakti, and M represents their Aikya. So Hrim is also Shiva Shakti Aikya. It represents Shiva Shakti Aikya. So Hrimkari. Bija Rupa. Bija Rupa. She is the form of Bija. Bija is the seed. So in the Mantra Shastra, to differentiate it from the regular phonemes used in the Bhasha, in the language, the Matrikas are called as Bija, Bija Akshara. Whereas in the language or in the bhasha, they are merely varnas. Okay, the difference between the varna and the bija is that varna is that which is susceptible to change. Varna itself means that which is susceptible to change. Whereas bija means that which is like the seed, which has the potency to grow into a tree. These have the potency to establish the unity of the upasaka with his upasya through the mantra sadhana. That is why all the mantras have their final import as aham vimarsha. This also Acharya Abhinav Gupta establishes very clearly in Paratrishik. Whatever mantra sadhana we do, the mantras have both the sthula, sukshma and the vasanartha. The vasanartha, which is called as the mantra virya. The concept of mantra virya is also dealt by Acharya Kshemaraja in Pratyabhijna. Mantra virya is nothing but aham vimarsha. So all the mantras lead to the same goal. So bija rupa. So these mantras are having that potential to raise the sadhaka to realize his essential nature. Therefore, she is the bija rupa. Klimkara. So Aim we saw, which is the Vagbhava bija. Klim is called as the Kamaraja bija. Now, regarding Klim, once again, when we look at the Tantragamas, they say that Ka, La, I and the Anuswar. Ka represents the Shakti Tattva as per so the Ka represents the Shakti Tattva, La represents the Prithvi. Okay, there is another way of looking at this thing wherein you have Prithvi being represented by La. So even if even in current parlance, in the Mantropasana, after the dhyana of the particular devata is done, there is something called a Pancha Upachara, which is done. Pancha Upachara is mental offering of the Dhupa, Deepa, Pushpa, okay, the Naivedya and others. All this happening mentally. And for that, we invoke the bijas of the respective bhutas. So in that, Lam Prithivyatmane or Lam Prithivyatmikayai. So La represents the Prithvi. So Ka, Shakti, La, Prithvi, and E represents the manifestation of all the other tattvas from Shakti till Prithvi. Prithvi is the last in the tattva scheme. So Ka, La, E represents the entire Srishti. Him represents the Shiva, the Purna, the Chit. So Klim is called as the Kamaraja bija for the reason that it helps us fulfill all our worldly desires as well. So the reason for saying as well is that it is not the Mukhya Prayojana, but it is the Anushangika Prayojana of the Klim as a bija. Anushangika is secondary use. So using the Klim as the predominant bija, one can attain worldly desires apart from the highest truth. So since it is the bestower of all the desires, it is called as the Kama Raja. Kama means desires. So Klimkara. Next. Ambaravasini. Ambaravasini. Ambara means sky. Since the context is about the bijas and mantras and phonemes, Ambara means sky or the not sky in sense, it's space. And that space or the Akasha has the Tanmatra of the Shrotra. So the knowledge that is bestowed to us is in the form of the phonemes, in which the power of these matrikas or these bijas is narrated or it is given to us in the form of an upadesha by the Guru. So Ambaravasini, one who resides in the ether in the form of the Shabda, which leads us to the realization. So the Adhara for the Shabda is the Akasha. And Shiva is also equated because there is nothing else with which we can equate Shiva to understand Shiva other than pure sky. So in Shiva Sutra Vyakhya, for example, when Acharya says Swatmani Akasha Kalpe, in the Vyakhya of the second Sutra, no Ajnanam Bandha, there is a Swatmani Akasha Kalpe, in himself, which is like the Akasha. So that is the closest simile we can give to your consciousness. So Ambara represents the sky of consciousness in which the matrikas operate. The physical sounds operates in the space. So Ambara Vasini, one who resides in that Bodhakasha. Sarva Aksharamayi. So with this Nama, he says Sarva Aksharamayi. She is in the form of all the Aksharas. And to show the difference between the twofold classifications that we just now discussed, there is another Nama that is the Akshara, and the following Nama is Varna Malini. You will see all the three together. It's a very interesting read. Sarva Akshara Rupini, in the form of all the Aksharas. The next Nama is Akshara. Why is it called as an Akshara? Naksharati iti Akshara. That which is immutable, that which is changeless is Akshara. So the phoneme that we are talking about is not that physical phoneme, no, the sounds that we are hearing or anything, but it is that immutable form of the spandana, that vibration, okay, which is where the consciousness operates. That is called as the Akshara. The physical sounds are the Varna. That is why even when we learn the alphabets in the school, it is called as Varna Mala. Our ancient system was very clear while giving the names. We later on completely messed with the whole thing. Now we find that people are also using Aksharamala there. No, the proper name is only Varnamala. It is not Akshara. It is only Varna. Because Varna is that which changes. Akshara is that which does not undergo any change. And to demonstrate this, they give one small example. They say, look, the sound A can be represented in the script form in many, many different ways. In each script, it is represented in a different way. So the differences that comes while describing is the Varnas. But that sound which is permanent in sense that which is changeless is the Akshara. Extending the same analogy a bit further, Akshara is that Paravak Swarupa, whereas Varna is at the Vaikhari level. So the Para is Akshara, in the Vaikhari we have the Varna. So she is the Varna Malini. Malini in the form of the various Varnas. Mara will stop here because the next set of are slightly
yes,
different.
sure. Sure, Shekharji. Thank you. So nice. Today, really, we understood the difference between Varana and Akshara. It is so enlightening. Thank you. Thank you, Shekharji.
Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you. Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaskar ji, thank you.
Namaste.